Most people don't actually want millions of dollars. What they really want is freedom. Freedom to stop stressing about bills. Freedom to stop waking up every morning feeling trapped. Freedom to stop trading all their time just to survive. And somewhere along the way, the internet found the perfect phrase to sell that dream: passive income. It sounds almost magical when you first hear it. Make money while you sleep. Escape the 9 to 5. Earn income without working. And honestly, who wouldn't want that? That's why passive income became one of the most powerful ideas on the internet. Because it doesn't just sell money, it sells escape. But here's the problem. Most people chasing passive income are not chasing financial freedom anymore. They're chasing fantasy. And nobody talks honestly about that part. The internet makes passive income look effortless. A few clicks, a side hustle, some investments, maybe a digital business. Then suddenly you're sitting on a beach while money magically enters your account every day. At least, that's the image constantly being sold online. But reality looks very different. And the sooner people understand that, the less disappointment they'll experience later. Because real passive income usually requires one thing people desperately try to avoid: a massive amount of work up front, sometimes years of it. And that truth ruins the fantasy many people are emotionally attached to. One of the biggest lies social media quietly spreads is this: that passive income means effortless income. It doesn't. In fact, most passive income starts as extremely active income. YouTube channels, businesses, investments, real estate, digital products. All of these usually demand huge amounts of effort before they produce anything meaningful. But the internet rarely shows the beginning. It only shows the result. And that creates dangerous expectations. People see successful creators earning money from old videos, but they don't see the years those creators spent uploading content nobody watched. They see business owners making money online, but they don't see the stress, failures, and sleepless nights that came before stability. They see investors collecting returns, but they don't see the discipline required to consistently invest over long periods. Everybody wants the outcome. Very few people are emotionally prepared for the process. And honestly, that's where most people quit. Not because passive income is fake, but because they secretly expected easy money. And easy money is one of the most expensive illusions people chase. There's something else nobody talks about either. Passive income takes patience, a painful amount of patience sometimes. Because in the beginning, it often feels like nothing is happening. YouTube channels grow slowly, investments grow slowly, businesses grow slowly, audiences grow slowly, and modern people struggle deeply with slow progress because social media has trained everyone to expect instant results constantly. Fast entertainment, fast success, fast money, fast validation. So when people start building something that grows gradually, they panic. They assume it's failing. But slow growth is normal. In fact, slow growth is usually healthier than explosive growth because slow growth builds foundations. Explosive growth often builds pressure. Now, let's talk about the emotional side of passive income nobody prepares you for: loneliness, especially in the beginning. Because when you start building something long-term, most people around you won't understand what you're doing. They'll think you're wasting time. They'll mock your consistency. They'll question why you're putting effort into something producing little immediate reward. And honestly, that part breaks many people emotionally. Because humans naturally crave validation. We want proof that our effort matters. But passive income often demands long periods of invisible effort before visible rewards arrive. And invisible effort feels psychologically difficult. That's why discipline matters more than motivation. Motivation disappears quickly when rewards are delayed. Discipline survives delay. Take YouTube, for example. People see creators making money from old videos and think, that's easy passive income. But they don't see years of uploading consistently, learning editing, improving storytelling, understanding retention, failing repeatedly, making videos nobody watched. The passive part came later, after enormous active effort. And this applies almost everywhere. Even investing requires emotional discipline most people lack. Because when markets crash, people panic. When progress feels slow, people quit. When results aren't immediate, people lose faith. And that's why passive income remains rare. Not because opportunities don't exist, but because consistency is emotionally difficult. Now, here's where things become even more dangerous. Some people become obsessed with passive income for the wrong reasons entirely. Not freedom, avoidance. They don't want passive income because they love building wealth. They want passive income because they hate their lives. And that difference matters deeply, because money alone cannot fix emotional emptiness, and many people discover that too late.
There are people making good money online right now, while secretly exhausted, anxious, and emotionally burned out. But social media only shows the revenue screenshots, not the mental pressure, not the isolation, not the constant fear of losing momentum. And honestly, many passive income systems are not truly passive at all. They require maintenance constantly, audience attention constantly, adaptation constantly. Algorithms change, markets shift, trends die, platforms evolve, and suddenly something that once felt stable becomes unpredictable again. That's another truth nobody talks about. Passive income is rarely permanent. It requires maintenance, protection, adaptation. And the people who succeed long-term usually understand that early. Now, this doesn't mean passive income is bad. Far from it. Passive income can absolutely transform lives, financially, emotionally, generationally. But the healthiest people approach it realistically, not emotionally. They understand something important. Passive income is not about escaping work completely. It's about creating systems that eventually reduce dependence on constant labor. That's different, very different. And honestly, the best passive income strategy is usually boring. Consistent investing, building useful skills, creating long-term assets, developing businesses slowly, growing audiences gradually. Nothing flashy, nothing overnight, but sustainable. And sustainability matters more than hype, because hype fades quickly, systems survive longer. One of the saddest things online today is watching people constantly jump from one easy money opportunity to another. Crypto hype, dropshipping hype, AI hype, trading hype, whatever trend promises fast income next. And usually, they're not building anything real. They're chasing emotional excitement disguised as financial ambition. That difference destroys years of progress for many people, because real wealth usually comes from depth, not constant distraction. And the people who quietly succeed financially are often less emotional about money than everyone else. They think long-term. They accept delayed gratification. They stop searching for shortcuts constantly. And eventually, time starts rewarding them differently. But there's one final truth about passive income most people never hear until much later. And honestly, it might be the most important truth of all. Passive income does not solve identity problems. If someone is lazy before money, they usually remain unfulfilled after money. If someone lacks purpose before freedom, too much freedom can actually make life feel emptier. Because humans need more than income. We need meaning, growth, challenge, direction. And many people accidentally discover that after spending years chasing freedom. The goal should never be building a life where you do nothing. The goal should be building a life where money no longer controls every decision you make. That's healthier, that's sustainable, and honestly, that's real freedom. There's a moment that happens to almost everyone chasing passive income, a quiet moment, usually late at night, when the excitement fades for a second, and reality finally asks a difficult question. What if this takes way longer than I expected? That question changes everything, because most people are emotionally prepared for success, but not for the timeline success actually requires. And passive income tests patience in brutal ways. In the beginning, almost nobody claps for consistency. That's important to understand. People celebrate outcomes, not repetition, not sacrifice, not invisible effort. So when someone spends months, sometimes years, building something slowly, the outside world usually sees nothing impressive. A small YouTube channel, tiny investment returns, a business making almost no profit yet, an audience barely growing. And honestly, that stage breaks most people psychologically, because humans naturally want evidence that effort is working. But passive income often grows invisible before it becomes obvious. That's why many people quit right before momentum finally starts building. Think about how strange compound growth actually is. At first, progress looks tiny, almost disappointing. Then slowly, the growth becomes noticeable. Then eventually, it accelerates dramatically. And this applies far beyond investing. It applies to skills, businesses, audiences, reputation, even confidence. Life rewards consistency later than emotions prefer. And emotionally impatient people usually sabotage themselves before reaching that stage. Now let's talk about one of the biggest misconceptions around passive income. The idea that multiple income streams automatically create peace. They don't. In fact, for many people, they create exhaustion first. Because building multiple streams of income often means managing multiple responsibilities, multiple systems, multiple problems, multiple forms of stress. And online, nobody talks honestly about this enough. People glorify having 7 income streams without explaining the pressure that sometimes comes with it. Because every income stream has maintenance attached to it, and maintenance requires energy. A YouTube channel needs content. A business needs management. Investments require emotional discipline. Rental properties require upkeep. Digital products require updates. Audiences require attention. And if someone builds too many systems too quickly without emotional balance, they can accidentally build a prison disguised as freedom. That happens more than people realize, especially online.
There are people earning more money than they ever imagined right now, while secretly feeling more trapped than ever before, because they build income without building peace. And honestly, that's one of the darkest truths about financial success nobody talks about enough. Money solves financial problems, but it does not automatically solve emotional ones. And many people discover that after spending years believing income alone would fix everything. This is why comparison becomes extremely dangerous during financial journeys, because social media constantly creates the illusion that everyone else is succeeding faster than you. You see someone making thousands online, someone buying expensive cars, someone talking about financial freedom at 22, and suddenly your own progress starts feeling small, even when you're improving. That mindset destroys motivation quietly, because comparison shifts focus away from building toward proving. And once people become obsessed with proving success, they start making emotional financial decisions, risky decisions, desperate decisions, unsustainable decisions. Now, here's something interesting most financially successful people eventually learn. Slow, stable income often creates more peace than fast, unpredictable income. That surprises many people, because online culture glorifies massive, fast success constantly. But psychologically, stability matters deeply. Knowing your systems are sustainable matters. Knowing your finances are resilient matters. Knowing you are not one bad month away from collapse matters. And honestly, many people chasing passive income are secretly chasing emotional safety more than luxury. That's the real conversation underneath all of this. Security, freedom from constant fear, freedom from survival pressure, and those are deeply human desires. But here's the irony. The people most likely to build sustainable passive income are usually the people willing to work actively for long periods without immediate reward. That's the paradox. Passive income often belongs to people with strong active discipline, not lazy people searching for shortcuts. And once you understand that, everything starts making more sense. Take investing, for example. Real investing is often boring, very boring. Consistent contributions, long-term thinking, patience during market crashes, ignoring hype, ignoring panic, ignoring emotional impulses. And because it feels boring, many people abandon it searching for more exciting opportunities. But excitement and wealth building rarely move together long-term. That's another hard truth.
Even content creation works similarly. The creators who survive long-term usually aren't the most dramatic. They're the most consistent. They improve gradually, adapt gradually, learn gradually, and eventually their systems become powerful because time amplifies consistency, not because they got lucky overnight. Now let's talk about something even deeper, identity. Because the way people approach passive income often reveals how they see themselves. Some people approach money from desperation. Others approach it from patience. Some people constantly search for external rescue. Others quietly build internal discipline. And those mindsets eventually create completely different financial outcomes. Because wealth building is not just mathematical, it's behavioral, emotional, psychological. And honestly, most financial success is really emotional control hidden behind numbers. The ability to delay gratification, the ability to stay patient, the ability to avoid panic, the ability to remain consistent when results are invisible. Those traits matter more than most people realize. And that's why some people earning average incomes still quietly build wealth over time, while others earning huge incomes remain financially unstable. Because income alone does not create financial intelligence, behavior does. There's another truth nobody likes hearing either. Sometimes passive income takes so long to build that people emotionally evolve before reaching the destination, and that changes everything. Because the person who started chasing money at 20 may care more about peace than status by 30. The person obsessed with luxury early on may later realize freedom matters more than impressing strangers. And honestly, that shift is healthy, because maturity changes financial priorities. A lot of younger people think financial freedom means expensive lifestyles, luxury cars, massive houses, constant travel. But many older financially stable people eventually realize something simpler. Real wealth often feels quiet. Less stress, more time ownership, more flexibility, more control over decisions. And honestly, that version of wealth is far more sustainable emotionally. Now, does this mean ambition is bad? Not at all. Ambition can absolutely improve lives, but ambition without emotional balance becomes dangerous, because eventually people start sacrificing health, relationships, and peace trying to escape fast enough, and then one day they finally reach financial success, only to realize they destroyed their ability to enjoy it along the way. That happens more than people admit publicly. The healthiest approach to passive income is understanding this. Money should support your life, not become your entire identity. That distinction matters deeply, because once self-worth becomes tied entirely to financial performance, peace becomes fragile. Every bad month feels personal. Every setback feels like failure. Every comparison feels threatening.
and that emotional instability destroys happiness even during success. Now here's the beautiful part nobody talks about enough. Building passive income slowly can actually transform someone positively beyond money. It teaches patience, long-term thinking, emotional discipline, delayed gratification, consistency, resilience. And honestly, those qualities improve almost every area of life, not just finances. That's why the process itself matters, not just the outcome. And maybe that's the biggest truth about passive income nobody talks about. The real reward is not only financial freedom, it's the person you become while building it. Because someone capable of patiently building long-term systems is usually becoming stronger internally too, more disciplined, more emotionally stable, more intentional. And those qualities matter long after money enters the picture. So if you're building something slowly right now, a business, a YouTube channel, an investment portfolio, a side income, don't panic if progress feels invisible early on. That's normal. That's how most meaningful things grow, quietly, before they become obvious. And remember this, the internet celebrates fast success loudly, but real wealth is usually built quietly. One decision, one investment, one upload, one disciplined day at a time, until eventually the life people call lucky was actually built through years of invisible consistency nobody noticed. If this video changed the way you think about passive income, subscribe for more videos about financial freedom, wealth psychology, investing, discipline, and building a life that actually feels meaningful. And remember, passive income is not about escaping work forever. It's about slowly building enough freedom to finally control your own time.